What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Killer Keemstar, and I'm here with...
Only use me, blood.
This is the BadKidCast, the audio cast that you listen to
while you game.
We're available on iTunes.
Android.
And right on iHeartRadio.
What about the Spreaker?
We're on Spreaker, too.
Bam.
We're in Spreaker. We're in iHeartRadio. I don't know what the fuck this is.
When we were in the airport, we'll talk about this later, but I actually saw a huge display for iHeartRadio. Like, people were, like, plugging their phones into it.
I think we get paid for doing this show.
That'd be cool.
Like, I think we go on the radio. I don't know how it works. We don't know yet. We need you guys to look this up. We got a message from Spreaker, which is who we work with, who we upload our content to, and then they put it on iTunes and everything else for us. We got an email from them saying, yes, you're now on iHeartRadio. iHeart wants you or whatever. You've been accepted.
That's awesome. We have a sponsor for tonight's episode.
We do have a sponsor for tonight's episode or today's episode, and we were talking about this before the show started.
Okay, here's the thing. So when we get a sponsor, the thing, like, let's say they contact me, the thing that I ask them is I ask them, what would you like us to promote? And instead of just saying, hey, link to the channel or whatever, we like to actually go to the channel, watch a couple of videos, see what it's all about before we send you guys over.
Right.
Now, so we're sitting here, we look at it, and tell them what were your reaction.
I notice an issue with our sponsors' videos. I noticed that, one, he's got black lines. Or, like, you know how the video sometimes doesn't fit on YouTube? It's very an amateur thing. Like, he's got the black on the side and, black up and around. And it's just, the video does not fit on YouTube. There's black borders around it.
So, in this highly competitive YouTube community, if... like to have that, you're saying that it's not gonna.
I'm saying, like, dude, you can't have that, bro. Like, I know you're paying for promotion. Here's the thing. I'm like, I gotta say something, and Blade's like, no, no, you can't say anything. Make your point.
Okay, so here's the thing. Let's say that the BadKidCast, like, let's say the Joe Rogan podcast, right? Let's say they're like, listen, if you have a podcast you want us to promote, you can pay us kind of the same way we do with our promotions, our sponsorships, which is only $50, which is very fair. If the first thing they talk about is like, our show today is brought to you by the BadKidCast. Now, we went over to listen to the BadKidCast, and Keem's an idiot, and the audio quality's bad. And Blade's pretty awesome. Like...
Of course, that had to be the scenario.
Oh yeah, I'm just talking realistically here.
Okay,
just kidding. But like, if they were to, instead of like promote us and make us sound awesome, if their thing was critiquing and this is what they should work with, it's a very thin line because you want to have that trust with the viewers, which I know we have. So that's what you're talking about. You're like, I trust my viewers too much not to send them to some crap.
Here's what we should do. We should say, hey guys, make sure you check out I Am Crazy Dude HD. He makes Minecraft videos. They're very awesome. They're very excited. Go check him out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like this dude paid $50, not just for promotion, but because he likes the BadKidCast, right?
Absolutely.
And I feel like this individual probably likes you and me, and probably at least respects one of us.
Okay.
So isn't his $50 worth us trying to help him?
Absolutely.
I think it should be.
I don't think he paid $50 for us to critique his YouTube.
No, he paid $50 for us to promote him.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? We can do a better promotion for his channel by bringing up this issue. Hey, dude, you got... And I just want to say this, right? I'm Crazy Dude HD is a young dude. This is not like an older, teenager that's coming into the YouTube scene. I listen to his voice. He's a young kid, so he does not really know everything, right? We should try to help him. We shouldn't just send over people and say, hey, go sub to his channel. We should say, hey, dude, you got to get those black bars out of there. It's definitely going to be better in the long run.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, that's my 2 cents. Sorry, I'm Crazy Dude HD if you're mad that I critiqued you, but I feel like I'll help you in the long run.
So if you guys are listening out there, go to his channel and watch a couple of videos, and don't be negative. Like, don't be like, die in a fire, bitch. Don't do like that.
They're gonna do it now.
No, please.
You
don't.
fucked it up.
How did I fuck it up?
Because you had to put in their mind, die in a fucking fire. I cannot stop.
That's my new saying lately. I've been saying that a lot.
Why?
I don't know why. It just seems like a appropriate thing to say.
It feels like to me that you're a very patient person, and I will do tasks that I do like really fast, right? And it's something you want to take your time with. So instead of telling people to go to hell, you're just like, die in a fire.
Yeah, well, I want to paint the picture of how I want them to go. Did you know that in the prison systems that obviously rapists and not murders, but like rapists and child molesters.
Time out. Go to hell, die in a fire is the same amount of words.
I don't really say I don't really say go to hell. I usually just say die in a fire.
In my mind, I thought go to hell was a longer sentence than die in a fire, but it's not. It's the same.
You know what? A lot of times I say really vulgar, mean shit more for the creativity and not because I actually dislike the person.
I know.
Like
it's an art form.
No, it is. On our trip, do you remember when I made it super awkward in the car on the way up?
I don't remember. Remind me.
So on this trip, we had 3 young lads with us. We had Dylan, Robert, and Chris.
Yo, you called them millionaires in your video. These motherfuckers aren't millionaires.
Aren't they?
Well, I don't know.
They carry themselves as if they're millionaires.
Yeah. Anyhow.
If that's not the case, I apologize.
I've been friends with Dylan forever. Dylan's just a friend of mine, but
Dylan's good people.
And then and then he's got 2 friends that were hanging out with him that we were on a trip with. So here's the situation: me and Blade, we're like 30, and they're like 20 to 16 years old.
That's the range. Yep.
So there's like a 10-year, 15-year gap in between us peoples all hanging out. We're in Dallas. We're in, and then we went to Colorado on this trip.
Now tell them the reason why you and I went to Dallas.
Well, okay, so Dylan had to go to Dallas, right, to work on some servers. And one of the kids that has some servers over there is Chris, and he is from Toronto, okay? So Chris is a heavyset kid who me and him like fight all the time. We argue back and forth. Well, pretty much like we all argue all the time. Like the whole point of me and Dylan's friendship and me hanging out with a few of Dylan's friends is we play Rust together and we talk shit. That's all we do.
The first time I met Chris, I was doing a GTA live stream with Keem. Keem was like, "Hey, Dylan's gonna come with his friends,"
right?
And they brought Chris in, and the entire time, basically, you and Chris were just going back and forth, and it was fucking hilarious.
That's what we do. We just, as mean as we possibly can, we talk shit about each other, and that's pretty much how we're friends.
That's the friendship.
That's the friendship. If anyone would walk in, they'd be like, "Wow, these motherfuckers like hate each other." We like look forward to get together and play Rust and get in a Skype call and call each other names. That's what we do.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So I'm listening to all this banter going back and forth, right? And my thing is this: I'm not a bully, okay? And as an outsider looking in, it looked kind of like bullying, like the way that they were treating Chris.
Right.
But then as I got more comfortable with the group and as I was listening, out of nowhere, I just came up with a gem, okay? They were making fun of how fat he is, right?
Because Chris is a little fat.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, this popped in my brain. I'm like, were you too fat to abort as a child? And I told him that, and the whole fucking car was like, "Oh, ouch! That might have went too far there, bro. That escalated quickly."
Maybe because they didn't expect you to jump into the digging.
Yeah, because I wasn't doing any digging because I didn't want to have any part of fucking like just everyone grouping up on one kid. I think that's kind of fucked up. But like as I realized,
the only reason why people group up on Chris is because he's literally the size of like Robert and Dylan together.
Yeah.
So like the bigger you are, the harder insults you got to take.
He's hard to look at, bro. Like if
he's not even hearing your roast.
I'm sorry, bro, but like if you try to talk to him and you look at him, he's like the sun. You're like, "Oh, I can't even look at you, you fucking ugly." Like he looks like, okay, first off, he looks like a Down syndrome version of Chris from Family Guy. And so I have such a hard time. I feel bad, you know what I mean? I don't want to fucking make fun of this kid. I'm a grown man. I shouldn't be making fun of a kid, but like I try to have a conversation with him, and it's just like, ow, I can't even look at you. And then, okay, so Keem would be driving. Like we found our routine. I rented the car, right?
Yeah.
And so I first started driving, and then there's a whole ordeal of trying to get directions to different places. We found the best thing to do is to have Keem drive and have me sit passenger with my phone so I can give precise directions to where
I like driving, And like I can't do the directions thing. It really fucking bothers the fuck out of me.
So we hit our groove and it worked perfectly, right?
Yeah.
It seemed like every single time, like you know how when you get on the freeway, there's like 5 different things you have to do, like merge onto this, get to this exit or whatever.
Yeah.
It seemed like every time I was talking to do that, Chris would start fucking talking about something. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up for 5 seconds. He wouldn't. It'd be like a 50-mile straightaway. He wouldn't say a word. As soon as we were trying to get off the exit or like do some turns,
like, you got to turn right here. What?
Yeah.
What? Shut the fuck up. We're giving directions. What are you doing?
And the thing is that Chris, Dylan, and Robert would be going back and forth so much because, okay, first off, you have to think Dylan, super dry humor, kind of quiet, super dry humor, doesn't laugh very loud. Chris is Chris, I can't even explain him. And then you got this kid with a British accent. So it's the fucking funniest dynamic of these 3 stooges going back and forth in the back seat. I felt like I was babysitting on this trip. Like, shut up, kids. Like, when I returned the rental car,
I literally said driving on the fucking highway. Do you remember this? I'm like, don't make me pull this car over.
Dude, you don't understand. So, like, okay, there was a situation. First off, the second rental car was, as far as the interior, was destroyed. Okay. So I'm not gonna lie. When we were in Colorado, we went to a dispensary. Okay.
Yeah.
We got fucking gummy bears. These dudes ate gummy bears. Not all of them, but one of them ate gummy bears and then got so fucking like hungry for candy. He was bitching and complaining about Reese's Pieces. He's like, we need Reese's Pieces now. And so they like every time they went into a store, they would come back. I think they came back with like what was that thing they came back with?
I just want to say I have no idea how these minors got this stuff, but it wasn't for me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it wasn't for me either. So didn't they come back with this fucking massive Easter egg thing or whatever?
Dude, they went into a fucking Rite Aid and bought. There's this friend of theirs known as Kanini. Now, Kanini is actually a name of a rabbit. So these motherfuckers went in because it's almost Easter time, right? Mm-hmm. So there's these big things of chocolate, and there's all these like candy rabbit statues, and they started buying them all up so they can like bite its head and send a picture of it to Kanini and be like, I'm eating you. Some bullshit, right? I have no idea what the whole scheme of it was. But there was like this master plan to buy all these chocolate rabbits to pick on this other individual on the internet. So what happens, right, is inside the rental car, you got fucking, first of all, kids in the back with like all kinds of different shit that they've bought at every store, imagine. And now you introduce into the cesspool these giant fucking chocolate rabbits in the fucking sun.
Yeah.
So
my God.
Things are like melting all over the fucking place. Like it was just, the whole thing was a complete mess.
Now talk about when we went to the Walmart. What'd you get?
So this is what's happening. We're in Colorado. All right. It's the last day. Fucking Robert changes his goddamn flight. This dude changes his fucking flight. He's supposed to leave the next day. He leaves early and fucks us up on a whole day of riding ATVs.
Yep.
So when we wake up and we find out that he's changed his flight, we got to rush so we can ride RTVs before we have to take him back to the airport. So we hurry up and we get up into the mountains. We get the RVs. But before we get there, we all decide, because the day prior it was too cold, that we need gloves. All right? So we decide that we need gloves, so we stop at Walmart before we go riding again on the second day. Going to Walmart, I'm trying to be conservative. Mm-hmm. I'm like, let's get gloves, let's leave. Nope. Fucking Dylan wants to buy a goddamn a fucking thermos to hold like cans of Mountain Dew, wants to buy like all this other crazy hats, all this stupid shit, right? Like, you know that one scene in Dumb and Dumber where they only have enough money to like pay their rent or whatever, and he walks into the store and he comes out with the most ridiculous shit ever? Mm-hmm. That's what it was like on the Walmart trip. Part of the ridiculous shit that we end up purchasing while everyone else is waiting in the car is silly string. You know, the shit in the can where you hit it and it fucking
it's silly string.
Puts out a goddamn spider web or whatever. So we trick Chris, me and Dylan. So at first I'm like, this is stupid and childish. And then I start like envisioning like covering fucking Chris with silly string, right? So we end up getting back to the car. Chris opens the door and me and Dylan just blast this dude. So what he does is he dives in the car. Now, I don't want to stop hitting him because he's squealing like a pig, and it's funny, right? So I'm like putting my hand through the window, me and Dylan both squirting this dude with silly string. This is all in the fucking car, right? On top of the cesspool of garbage from every different place and the melting
McDonald's wrappers, fucking
bunnies.
Yeah.
Like fucking, there's so much shit back there. There's like extra clothes and extra gloves that people are never going to wear again, that they're not taking home. The fucking, the inside of this van is like just garbage, raw garbage everywhere. It's a complete fucking mess. Oh, and when the silly string dries up and stuff, it literally looks like an army of dudes like busted loads in there. Like it just looked, it was like white creamy shit all over these black leather seats. Like it literally looked like people were just unloading on there.
Yeah, and I didn't know like when it's fresh, like when you squeeze it fresh, you can just wipe it off. But like it like saturated in there, and I was like, fuck.
So then we go to return the rental car, and the guy looks at it, and he's like, "What the?
No. Back up. Explain the nosebleed."
So anyhow, oh shit, we didn't even get to that part. All right,
just explain the nosebleed.
So this is the second day. This is after we picked up the silly string and we got the extra gloves. Right, we get up in the mountains and we start riding, and we're having the greatest time ever.
It was such a process in order to get all of us there and have ATVs and rent them and trail them and get them up there, that when we finally did it, it was so fucking awesome.
Me and Blade are in an ATV. All right, we're in a, if you want to know what it actually was, it was called a Razor. It's a 2-seater. And then the other 3 kids, they were in a Ranger, right? So we're riding, through the trails. It's sunny. It's nice. There's still a lot of snow on the ground, right? We're having a great time. All of a sudden, we get fucking stuck. All right, we get on this trail, we get stuck. This guy comes up with a 4-wheeler, and he ends up hooking his winch to the 4-wheeler and like pulling us out, which is great, right? Because Robert was going to miss his flight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're stuck. We're like, fuck, what are we going to do? As we're driving out of this motherfucker, a goddamn, like, what was it, a Chevy Tahoe
it was
something?
A Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Jeep Cherokee.
A two-wheel drive Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Now, granted, you got to understand, we are on 4-wheel trails. We are on snowmobile trails, right? This fucking, what was it, Jeep Cherokee?
Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Decided that he was going to take his fucking truck through the goddamn woods and the trails. Needless to say, that motherfucker got stuck too. So he had it wenched, and he held up the trail for a while. We finally get back in time to get Robert back to the airport and everything, and we're loading up the car. And here's the thing. I haven't loaded a trailer onto a car, I don't think, ever in my life before. Mm-hmm. Every time I've ever had a trailer on my car, always someone else set it up or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm going through, I'm getting the ATVs, I'm driving them up. We rented this Yukon, right? I'm driving the ATVs, the Ranger and the Razor up on the trailer.
Up a ramp onto the trailer.
I'm getting them all secure. I'm making
Tying
sure
them down.
That the fucking trailer is like hooked up, right? In the background, I hear these guys fighting, right? I hear fucking slapping and all this shit. And it's just the normal shit between like Robert, Chris, and Dylan. So I'm just like, fucking ignore it. I end up calling the neighbor over here. Not the neighbor, but the guy that was near us, to come over and look to make sure I hooked everything up. Because the last thing I wanted was to be driving down the road and these fucking ATVs go and,
the trailer gets loose or whatever.
In the other lane and kill people or whatever, right? I want to make sure everything's secure. While this is going on, the guy's looking in the car like, what the fuck is going on there? And it finally dawns on me that they're fighting a little bit more than normal.
Yeah.
So the guy helps me. He hooks everything up. He says everything's fine with the trailer. I go open the door, and freaking Chris rolls out, and he goes, Robert hit me. Look what he did. And I look in there, and Robert's just covered in blood. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
When he said that, I was, in my mind, this is what I'm like, good for fucking Chris. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, good for fucking Chris. He basically was taking so much abuse that he said, fuck this, and punched him in the face. That wasn't the case, though.
No, he ended up like hitting him with a bottle or something.
Yeah, with like a water bottle. Throwing a water bottle at him. It hits him in the face, and because of the elevation and everything, blood.
So everywhere. Again, we're in a rental car. We're in this fucking rental Yukon, right? This kid's face is just bleeding. It's like a fucking water faucet, and there's just blood pouring out of it. He doesn't like open the car and stick his head out. He just sits right there.
Yeah.
There's like blood everywhere. So now inside this fucking van, right? There's blood everywhere. There's a fucking cesspool of garbage. And there's melted fucking chocolate Easter candy bunnies.
And silly string.
And fucking giant loads of silly string everywhere.
So now here's the situation. So because we had to get Robert back to the airport for his 6 o'clock flight?
Yes.
6 o'clock flight. We didn't know we were going to make it. We were stuck for a long time. We were stuck behind the other thing. It took Keem and I forever to load up to secure the truck because those kids weren't trying to help at all. So, and then we had to deal with directions. We finally got to the airport in time. I don't know how we got there in time. Got there in time, dropped Dylan off. Now, Keem and I have like 5 hours to kill.
So I fucking call up Chris, and I'm like, Chris.
Oh, my God. I
listen,
forgot about this part.
Well, first of all, you got to understand, we are four-wheeling, right? We got dirt on us, all right? We got to travel from Denver back to Buffalo. The last thing you want to do when you take a flight is be dirty, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have a hotel for that night because we're not staying there, right? We're leaving at 11 p.m. So we hit Chris, the last guy that's in town, and we're like, Chris, we're going to drop these guys, Dylan and Robert, off to the airport, and then we're going to come to your hotel room, hang out until our flight's ready. I'm going to take a quick shower or whatever and get ready for the airport. He's like, no.
And when he said, I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
What do you mean no?
Yeah.
What? This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Like, why?
Yeah.
And he's like, I just don't like sharing a room. We're
not sharing a room.
We have hours before we have to leave. So I start pressing him because this is a very unsocial, awkward situation that I just would never believe would be possible, right?
Yeah.
When a group of people are hanging out, one person's leaving late for the airport. They ask, hey, can I hang out at your hotel before my flight leaves? And they say, yeah. You know, that's just...
Yeah.
This
we got
dude,
like 5 hours to kill.
This dude ends up saying to me, I will give you 75,000, or excuse me, 75,000.
No, he first offered to buy us a room for half the day.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I don't even want to waste your money. That's so stupid. I just need a place to hang out for a couple hours. This dude proceeds to PayPal me $75 not to come to his room. What? I'm serious. I'm not making this shit up. So I was like, okay, well, I guess, we still need to kill some time. So we decide to go watch a fucking movie, right? So we go to the movie theater because we got like 3 hours to kill, and we start watching Noah, which I thought was a good movie. Thoughts?
I went into it not thinking I wasn't going to like it, but I appreciated it.
It was good. We weren't really fucking mapping out the time well because the movie still wasn't over with, and the time was 9:40, and we left. We're leaving this airport at 11:18.
Yeah.
So we're like, fuck.
Yeah.
We get in the car. We're driving as fast as we fucking can. We get to the airport. We got to return the rental car. How did that happen?
Well, so we pull up to the rental car. Keem gets out real quick and like grabs a bag, and he's like waving down the Enterprise bus. So now I'm like, here's our car. Can we just get the receipt real quick? And he like looks at it like, what the fuck happened in here? Oh my God. And so like he basically did a walk around in the car and like looked at it like, were you guys like raping bunnies in here? Like what the fuck's wrong with you? Like I could see it in his eyes, And then the situation was the Enterprise bus had left and there wasn't going to be another one. They pretty much said that the bus was like broke down.
So we're like, we're fucked.
Yeah.
We're going to miss our flight.
We went from having 5 hours to kill, not knowing what the fuck we're going to do, to we might miss our flight.
Yep. So we ended up running through the fucking airport, doing what we have to do, and we ended up getting on the flight. We ended up making our flight and getting home and everything. But during that time, I didn't even think. Well, we brought this up at one point, but we forgot to fucking hit him up. Grizz, we could have hit up Grizz.
I texted him when we were there.
Oh,
he just didn't respond.
Oh,
he must have been busy or something.
I hit him on Twitter today, and I was like, oh, we should have hung out. So yeah, that was that. We went on a trip. We were in Dallas, and we were in Colorado.
Dude, the whatchamacallit, the go-karting was fun. But do you remember the black dude? I hated that dude.
Oh yeah.
So we go to, what is it called? A1 or something?
K1.
K1. And I think like the second day we went there was this. It was all of us, and then there was this one black dude that came in. Right.
For those of you that don't know, K1 is an indoor go-karting place, and they take the go-karting so serious that you have to wear a helmet when you ride the go-karts.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm not used to, like because in Buffalo when you ride go-karts you don't.
And they
wear
say
a
that you
fucking
can't
helmet.
bump into each other, but like to me, go-karting is bumper cars. That's what it is.
Not really, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, so we go on this thing, and the second day when we're going out, we're all comfortable with it, so we're all like just zooming around. This dude was the fucking Mario Kart champion of go-karting.
This fucking skinny, black, fucking Tiger Woods with glasses looking motherfucker sits down, gets into this fucking go-kart, and just rapes. This dude was fucking NASCAR 101.
I think he lapped Chris twice.
He was hitting. I don't know how he was doing this. Like, seriously, I don't think like I'm an expert racer, but every time I go go-karting, I win. I fucking beat people. Now, unfortunately, and I don't know why, but Robert kept on getting second place, and I kept on getting third place every single race.
Yeah.
And then there was this crazy motherfucker that was getting first place. All right. Now, when I was coming in third place, I was coming in third place by like a tenth of a second. Like Robert was just barely beating me. So me and Robert were pretty much even. But this dude was beating Robert by like seconds.
Yeah.
This dude was on fire. And I've never seen any shit like this. I wish we would have filmed it because the way this dude went through the turns and the way he was hitting it, it didn't seem fair.
It seemed like he was on like a train line.
Like a track.
And that he was just going. Like I never saw him slow down. When he would take a turn, it seemed like he was taking a turn at full speed but in control.
I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I don't understand. First off, okay, do like Dylan probably weighs like 100 pounds, right?
Yeah.
I'm over 300. That doesn't, to me, they should take into consideration your weight and just adjust accordingly. What do you think?
I don't know. It goes two ways. The heavier you are, the more traction you have. The lighter you are, maybe the faster you move. Like it goes both ways.
You know what I always thought was stupid? Like I watched this documentary on fucking drag racing and stuff like that, like illegal street drag racing. Mm-hmm. And there's this thing with like, yeah, well sometimes a guy's car is just so much faster that we give him like a good 5 feet differential to make it fair. I'm like, then how's that a race?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so why would you change? That's like playing Call of Duty and saying, okay, well you're so good, we're going to give you some lag just to even the playing field.
Well, I mean, I think it's a handicap, right?
Yeah, it's a handicap.
Sometimes you need a handicap to keep the sport entertaining or whatnot. Sometimes it's just so unfair that it's not interesting to watch. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
A lot of times people want to see that good match. We always bitch when the Super Bowl comes around and it's a fucking blowout. Well, I wish they would at least put up a fight. Why did Seattle have to completely annihilate them? Last year was such a better. We do this because we want to see something go right to the end, right? Mm-hmm. And when it's a complete blowout, it's just like, eh.
So apparently, I didn't know this, and I checked this out when we were at the airport. I mentioned on my own personal Facebook that I was in Colorado, and one of my good friends was like, yeah, when I went through Colorado Airport, there was the NFL team shop or whatever had no Seattle Seahawks stuff in it because apparently Colorado's mad at Seattle because of the Super Bowl.
That's insane.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more.
I feel like there's so much more from the trip we're going to have to cover.
I didn't really want to talk about the trip. I don't know if the trip is entertaining to the fans or not.
Well, I think that we're going to take a break. So
we'll be right back after this. And we are... Why did that sound so loud when I came back?
That was really loud.
And we are back.
Lisa Ann is retiring?
I don't know who Lisa Ann is.
Lisa Ann is a hot fucking... She's smoking hot, dude.
Okay, yes. That describes who Lisa Ann is.
Okay,
smoking hot.
So she... Do you remember the Eminem video? When you walk through the door,
yeah,
plain to see. Remember the lady that looked like Sarah Palin in the video?
Yeah.
That's Lisa Ann. She's a porn star.
Oh, I see.
And she is famous for doing this movie called Nailin' Palin, where she looks exactly like Sarah Palin.
Oh, I see.
And so I just looked at his Twitter. Looked at Keem's Twitter, and someone said that Lisa Ann is retiring.
Yeah, Fizzerp said that.
Okay, bam.
Insane. A lot of stuff going on with dude. Me being away from Drama Alert for a week was so amazing. 2 reasons. One, I got a break from drama, but I didn't really get a break from drama because there was so much drama on the trip, right? But I got a break from the community, right? And there's nothing wrong with you guys. You know, I'm just saying, like, you know, you hang out with the same people every day. It's kind of like being in that Yukon that we rented, right?
Yeah.
People just start to get on your nerves. Same thing in the community. When you do drama, I have to be involved in this community. I have to know what's going on so I can report it to my fans. I have an obligation to my viewers to get them the news, right? I'm dedicated to know what the fuck is going on all the time. That shit can get frustrating, right? I forgot my original point, but I will say this.
Okay, you were gone for Drama Alert, and
when I was gone for Drama Alert, it was great. But now that I'm back, I am rejuvenated. I am in it to win it. And I have found so much news and been reporting so much news. It's been absolutely amazing. And I still don't understand my point. I forgot my point.
Can I tell the story about the most awkward elevator ride of all time?
I think you already did.
Oh, I think I did in my video. My bad.
Yeah. But
don't you think? Okay, here's the thing. Don't you think that when you're in an elevator, you shouldn't talk? Isn't that etiquette?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why, but sometimes people just carry on conversations, a lot of times inappropriate.
What about the motherfuckers on their phone in the elevator? That's the most awkward thing ever.
Fucking stupid.
But yeah.
Oh, we were at the hotel. These dudes told me that the candy bars were free. And so, like I think you even told me. Like,
I told you.
Dude, the candy bars are fucking free. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go get some Kit Kats and some Snickers. Bam. Awesome. So I'm just grabbing them, whatever. Put them in the room, put them in the freezer. I come from unloading all the stuff from the first day of ATV, and I walk up to the thing, and I'm like, I grab like 4 or 5 candy bars, and he's like, excuse me, sir, what room do you want me to put those under? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, what room do you want me to put these under? I'm like, aren't they free? He's like, no, they're not free. And I'm like, okay. So I like put them back. I'm like, but I felt bad. So I'm like, put this one in my room. Like,
well, see, when we signed into that hotel, there was this jar of candy bars next to it. And it was such like there. First of all, something was fucked up at the hotel where there was only one guy working. This guy was literally, I had to pull him out of the kitchen, right? I thought he was a cook. This dude ended up being the cook, the guy at the front desk, and the bartender. Everyone else called in. So this dude was by himself. And I felt bad for the dude, but at the same time, the dude was being kind of a douchebag.
Well, the thing is like at the end, like first off, they were trying to negotiate prices and he wasn't budging. And then at the end of it, after he gave us all our room keys, he was like, just to let you know, if you book online, it would be cheaper. Thank you. And so then we're like, okay, well, how about this? Let's cancel our rooms. We're going to book online. He's like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. Anyhow, the dude was a complete D-bag. But the same time we were waiting, no one was at the front desk. There's these jars of candy bars. I'm just fucking pulling them out and eating them, not thinking anything of it. Right? I was not sure if they were free or not because these are like the full big candy bars, not the little pieces, right?
Not the fun size.
I wasn't sure if it was free or not, so I just started telling everyone else that they were free. So if I got caught, everybody would get caught. You know what I'm saying?
So evil.
So that was my game plan from the start. So I was telling like Dylan and Chris and all of them, like, dude, those candy bars are free. Go have one, right? So they started taking them, right? The second day into it, me and Blade are sharing a room. I'm like, hey, Blade, you know the candy bars down there are free. Like, you mind picking me up one too? Right?
Yeah.
So he goes down there and picks them up, and then we found out that they weren't free.
Yeah.
But I took a risk. I took a chance.
Oh, dude, did I tell you about the fucking lady that like basically tried to prosecute me or some shit like that?
No,
okay.
What?
So I forget which plane ride it was. There's so many fucking plane rides we took, but basically I walked onto a plane and the cart of free drinks is sitting there, right?
Okay.
And I was thirsty as fuck, so I grabbed a water and a Coke.
Okay.
I grabbed a water and a Coke, and this lady that I ended up like sitting like a row from or whatever, she saw me and she was like, do you work here? I'm like, no. She's like, why did you take those? I'm like, they're complimentary. They're like, no, you have to wait till they come by and ask you what you want. I'm like, it's complimentary. It's free.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like, you can't be in trouble for stealing something that's free. That's stupid. Like, if there's free cookies, you don't have to be like, I'm taking a cookie. Just take a fucking cookie.
What did she? What's the what?
She was giving me the third degree. She was like, you should probably return those. I'm like, no, they're free. It's free. And the thing is like, I feel bad. My personal rule is I only take 2. Okay. When the people come by and ask you what you want, I always be like, I would like a Coke and I would like a water. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like one time I think I was hungover and I'm like, I'll take a ginger ale, a Coke, orange juice, and a water. And then after I said, I'm like, I look like a fucking asshole. Like, so I'm like, okay, I'll take a water and a Coke. That's enough. You know what I mean?
Well, you're only supposed to take 1.
I know, but two's acceptable.
Dude, I was sitting next to you on that one flight, and the lady's like, what do you want? And you like, I'll take a water, and I'll take a Coke. And then she's like, well, what kind of peanuts do you, or what do you want as a snack? You said, I'll take 2 peanuts. You're supposed to have 1.
I know, but it's not their peanuts, you know?
No, but what I'm saying is, like, she can't say no to that. Like, she can't be like, yeah, there's only 1 per person. You put her in a situation where if she doesn't give you the free extra peanuts, she looks petty.
You know what I thought about that? Like,
and I've talked about this on this podcast before. Like, it is sometimes when I'm out in public with you, you embarrass the shit out of me because you will go the extra mile. There'll be a place where you don't get free fucking pops. You'll go up after you drink your pop and say, okay, can refill it.
I don't say it like that. I don't like just enforce it, but I ask nicely, hey, if possible, can I get a refill? And, you know, most of the time I say yes.
But it's like, I don't know.
I read this thing on tipping. A person posted on Facebook, whatever. It was a whole study by a college student about tipping, right?
Yeah.
And they were saying that the one profession that doesn't get tips that they probably should, and you actually get awesome service, is flight attendants. Flight attendants never get tipped.
Yeah.
And they were saying, like, if you tip a flight attendant, like if you just give her $5 or whatever when the flight starts, she'll probably give you free drinks.
I would assume. Yeah. I don't know. Flight attendants, God, what an annoying job that fucking must be.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I would hate flying around. Dude, I flew around, so much that when I got home, my nose started fucking bleeding. Like, seriously.
Dude, and another thing, man, this trip made me seriously consider, I'm an iPhone 5 user, okay?
Uh-huh.
You're an iPhone 4 user. This trip seriously made me reconsider having this phone. Basically, when I get my next phone, I might not go the iPhone route. Because the fucking battery, I feel like I'm plugged in so much.
If you don't leave your house, it's fine. You can have an iPhone all day. But I mean, if you leave your house and you're out like in the workplace, you're outside, or you're fucking going on a trip, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You ain't having a phone. That motherfucker's running out. Like, people will go and get a fucking iPhone and they'll have like a job where they work outside and shit or whatever, and they can't charge it anywhere. Mm-hmm. And they'll go and get these like giant $100 like batteries to stick on it. Like, fuck Apple, dude. Apple, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you, but you have not been able to make products that keep battery life. Like, seriously, fuck off.
Time out, though. I love my iPad, and the iPad can keep a charge.
The mini iPad, not the big ones. I have a fucking big one. That shit runs out when it just thinks.
Really?
It'll be like,
The mini iPad's pretty awesome. Have you found yours yet?
No, I've still lost my iPhone.
Dude, that would drive me nuts. I use my iPad every day.
I don't know where it is. I got a fucking house. My girlfriend's kind of a hoarder. I don't know.
Dude.
There's so much shit. It could be buried anywhere. Anywhere.
Yeah.
And I have the whole thing where you like search for the iPhone.
On my iPhone, yeah.
Yeah, I did that, but it didn't show up because it's fucking dead somewhere. What is going on?
Someone's fucking retweeting and favoriting and shit.
Don't you know how to turn that goddamn fucking thing off during the show? How dare you?
Sorry. So unprofessional.
So unprofessional.
Dude, and the funny thing is, I thought literally I was going to make a whole rant video about my iPhones not charging. I thought, that's such a fucking first world problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, when we were in Dallas, Texas, we let the world know that we were doing a fan meetup at the Dave & Buster's in Dallas, Texas. A lot of people showed up. We took a lot of pictures. We met a lot of people. But it got to a point where there were so many people there that it felt a little awkward, and we needed to get out, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I felt really, really shitty about this, right? Here I am, I'm tweeting, hey, I'm in the area. I'm in Dallas, Texas. If you want to meet me and Blade, come out to the Dave & Buster's, right? I didn't realize that us leaving early like really, really, really severely could have fucked people over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when Blade gets this text, I realize we have truly fucked people over. And I feel guilty as hell. I know Blade felt guilty as hell. Blade gets a tweet, and it's from this dude that's like, I drove an hour and you guys aren't here anymore. Because we left the Dave & Buster's and we decided to go go-karting, right? So we're in the car with Robert, Dylan, and fucking Chris, and we're like, we got to go back to Dave & Buster's. These fans drove an hour. We got to meet them. All right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they're waiting at the Dave & Buster's. Dave & Buster's.
I tweeted back. I'm like, stay there. We're on our way. I feel so shitty. We'll be there.
So we had to drive ourselves like 40 minutes to get back to Dave & Buster's. We get there. The dudes are really super happy that we showed up. We shake our hands, and we're like, the Dave & Buster's about to close. We're like, look, before we just take off, you know, why don't we sit down and we'll play some Battle Pac-Man?
Yep.
So we game out. We're doing some Battle Pac-Man for like a good 10 minutes. And the dude's like, and I'm like, I'm really sorry about this, but we got to go or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we got to go too. So they hurried up and started pulling out stuff for me and Blade to sign. You know, we're signing some controllers. We're signing this Nintendo Game Boy 3D or whatever it's called. And the one dude, he pulls out an HD PVR. He hands it over to me. I sign it. You know, we take some pictures. Blade never signs the HD PVR, right? So the kid's like, Blade, can you please sign this HD PVR? So Blade takes it and he signs the HD PVR too. And then he fucking drops it and the fucking top pops off.
If you guys have ever held the HD PVR, it's really weird because it's very, very light. It seems hollow. So when I dropped it, the top of it fucking popped off, and we saw the inner workings of HD PVR like on the floor of Dave & Buster's. And I felt so fucking bad.
It was the most awkward moment ever. Me and Blade tell everyone, hey, we're doing a fan meetup at Dave & Buster's 8 p.m. We leave at 8:30 p.m. sharp. These kids show up at probably like 8:45, missing us by 15 minutes. Then they wait until almost
10.
like midnight, 11 o'clock, right? You know, for us to come back and to meet them. And then Blade fucking drops this kid's HD PVR.
And I was just like, dude, I'm so fucking sorry. Like, you don't understand. I'm really, really sorry. And he was like, don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm like, no, that's not fine. I feel fucking bad. Listen, I'll follow you back on Twitter. When you get home, plug it in. If it works, thank God. If it doesn't, I'll figure something out.
My reaction at this moment was like, oh my God. I just lose it, right? Because it's like such a shitty, like horrible thing that has just happened, right? These motherfuckers drove an hour for you to break their HD PVR, right? It's such a shitty thing, but at the same time, the fucking comedy. Oh my God. But the dude ended up tweeting you back saying, hey, the fucking HD PVR still works. Everything's good. And that was that. So that's a picture of him working.
It's him with his thumbs up, super happy, showing that it's recording his Xbox. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, that's pretty neat.
So that was that. And we didn't do a fan meetup in Colorado, and we should have. I was tweeting about it, but we just got so distracted with the stuff that we were doing.
Yeah.
And
well, first off, the process of renting the ATVs was kind of a long process. So this is what we had to do. So we had the rental car, we had the Yukon, and we go up and we talk to these. It's like a mom and pop type of place that like gets that has these vehicles, right? And there was an issue about a huge deposit and then paying for it, and then the whole loading up the trailer and all this kind of stuff.
Well, they needed a credit card, right? I don't fuck with credit cards, period. Mm-hmm. I don't use credit cards. I have my debit card, and that's it, right? I've never, ever, ever took a loan for anything in my life.
Yeah, I have a debit card that can be used as a credit card, but I have to have money in my account for it to process.
I pay for shit in cash. Mm-hmm. This place needed a credit card file. Well, all three of these motherfuckers have credit cards, but only one is above 18. Robert's 17, Dylan's 16, and fucking Fat Chris is 20, right? So we're like, Fat Chris, you're the only one that has a credit card, and that's 18 that can actually sign for this stuff. So lot of bullshit, a lot of embarrassing moments because here we're adults and fucking, these kids are arguing who's going to fucking put the credit card down to rent these RTVs, right?
Yeah.
This goes on forever in front of the two adults that run the fucking rental spot, right? So me and Blade are just like, oh my God, get us out.
It was really bad, though, because I don't know why I had a fucking brain fart. He's like, what brings you out to Colorado, right? Mm-hmm. And they were saying, we want an ATV, we're going to do this. And for whatever reason, I didn't know why. Maybe because I just felt this vibe from the younger dude. I was like, I came here to smoke. What's up? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that when you're renting vehicles from us. I'm like, oh, sorry, bro.
There was one ATV that you're only supposed to put 2 people on, and we're like, oh yeah, we could fit 3 in there. He's like, no, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah,
because of the insurance or whatever. Anyhow, all the bullshit gets done with the ATV situation, right? And fucking Chris finally signs for this fucking shit. Blade signs his name as a driver. I sign my name as a driver, right? We end up going to the fucking RV play, or we end up going RVing, right? We take the trailer up into the mountains with
probably
the RVs.
About a 45-minute drive from the rental place to there.
The first day, we go out there, we do what we do, and then it's time to leave. Now, the whole ride up there is nerve-wracking, right? Because this fucking trailer is long as fuck.
22 feet.
It's got fucking ATVs on it, and it's hooked up to a long-as-fuck Yukon that I'm driving, right? Nerve-wracking as fuck.
And a bunch of kids throwing candy in the back.
Bunch of kids fighting and throwing candy in the back, and at the same time I'm driving this fucking thing. I'm not driving it down the nice flat highway. I'm driving it in and out of fucking mountains, dude.
At one point there was a city that looked like it was fucking like the Matterhorn or some shit like that.
So, it wasn't impossible what I was doing. It wasn't really that difficult, but it was nerve-wracking with the trailer on. So what I decide after we're done, riding our four-wheelers the first day is I decide, you know what? We're going to leave the trailer with the ATVs right here in the middle of on the top of the fucking mountain, and we'll come back tomorrow so I don't have to drive the ATVs all over the fucking place.
Nerve-wracking, and plus the gas mileage is horrible.
Now here's the situation, right? If you leave a trailer with ATVs in the middle on top of a fucking mountain, like at the end of a road, anybody can take that shit. They could just go and take the fucking ATVs off the trailer, or even worse,
they take the whole back of the truck up and take the whole trailer.
Take the whole fucking trailer, right? I don't give a fuck. My name's not on it, right? I'm just like, I'm thinking about, I don't want to drive with this fucking trailer anymore.
Right.
And I'm also thinking at the end of the day, like,
safety.
Yeah, it's safer to drive without the trailer, but at the same time, who the fuck's really going to steal this shit, right?
Yeah. So
we wake up the next morning, and the main goal is, like we said, to get back to the ATVs because we left them out in the fucking
overnight
on top of the fucking mountain where anybody could steal them.
It's in the loading zone. So
the whole ride up there starts this big conversation, this big debate. What do we do if they're stolen? Now remember, Fat Chris
is liable,
right? So as the debate happens and, different things are being said, well, like I remember someone saying, well, if they're stolen, I'm getting on the first flight and I'm just going to fly home and fuck them.
Yeah.
And Chris is like, I'm from Canada. I don't give a fuck and blah, blah, blah. There's all this debate like who's going to be liable and who's going to be trouble if they're stolen. And I'm like being the responsible adult. I'm like, look, if they're actually stolen, you can't just leave town. You got to at least call the place and tell them that, or they're going to think you stole them, you dumb fuck.
Yeah.
Right? So anyhow, we're having this debate, whatever. And then Chris comes to a point where he's like, bro, I'm not the only one that signed. Keemstar, you signed as a driver, and Blade, you signed as a driver too. And Blade just burst out, I signed as Donald Duck, and I fucking lose it because without knowing that Blade did that, I signed fucking Daffy Duck, and I fucking
we didn't team up. We didn't like go back and forth like this would be funny. Like let's literally, if I ever have to sign for something that I don't really want to sign for, I'll sign it as fucking Donald Duck. I think that shit's funny because like I just imagine that they're like, well, let's go to the paperwork. See, Donald Duck.
I did not know he did that until he said it at that moment. It was just hilarious that we both did this. So after this gets said, we start fucking everybody starts losing it. And Chris is like, I know Chris is thinking like, I am fucked out of my mind. Like this is all me.
So here's my reasoning for it. Okay, I told him I was like, there is two situations. Okay. One situation is the things are there, everything's fine, back to normal, right? The other situation is your shit's stolen. Okay. Now, in the 45-minute car ride, you could sit here and stress about it, or you could just be like, it's going to come if it's not going to come or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but don't fucking ruin your ride. Deal with it when it happens. You know what I mean? It's out of your control right now, bro.
The shit was fucking hilarious. Anyhow, we get up there and we all start celebrating because nobody stole the fucking trailer, nobody stole the ATVs. But yeah, it was an adventure. You know what? My next adventure I want to go to like Nevada or somewhere and metal detect for gold nuggets.
I want to go someplace warm. I want to go like paragliding or some shit like that.
I want to go to the Redwood Forest.
You keep on talking about the Redwood Forest. I feel like the Redwood Forest is your final destination, bro.
It is, dude. I think I was meant to live there. Honestly, when you're at the Redwood Forest, your lungs become filled with amazing Pacific oxygen. I don't know how to describe it.
There's something majestic about the Pacific Ocean, bro. There really is.
Yeah, there's something that happens right in the Redwood Forest and only there. You know, it's like 70 degrees nonstop.
That's awesome.
Like, that's the degrees. It doesn't get hotter, it doesn't get colder. It's 70 degrees.
I remember when we asked Chris, I think we asked him a simple fucking question, and he gave us the temperature in Celsius. I'm like, that does us no good, dude.
Like directions or some shit?
No, he was like, dude, I can totally give you directions. I can totally give you directions. I'm like, go ahead. So he's like punching his phone, and then he's like, yeah, you go straight. We're like, what? Just go straight. We'll figure it out.
I don't think you like Chris.
It's not, I don't have anything against him. It's just like, I don't know, dude. I'm not a dude that's going to pick on like an 18-year-old kid. Like, that seems fucked up to me.
He's 20.
Oh, well, fuck him. Game on. I think at one point Dylan was like, I will pay you to beat him up. And I considered it, but I'm like, I'm not going to beat up a kid. Like, remember when we first got to the hotel, we were furious with them because they kept on fucking with us, like saying, we're in this room, we're on this floor, we're over here, we're over there. And they were up on their balcony of their hotel room watching us like walk around this place.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking annoying. I was
fucking pissed off that I'm like, maybe we'll hit this kid. And then we pretty much had to hostage negotiate for them to come out and be like, listen, we're not going to fucking hit you.
Yeah, they were scared that we're going to fucking kick their ass.
Can we talk about going into the
what?
Data center thing? No.
I mean, there's not really much to talk about.
Yeah, it was boring.
We went into a data center. It was pretty interesting. We saw servers and how it all works behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much the trip. In a nutshell, it was a great time. At times, it felt like I can't wait to be home. But the Colorado, the ATV, and that moment right there, those few hours out of the fucking week that you're gone, saved the trip for me.
Yeah.
Because when I think of the trip, I think only of that fun shit that we did on the ATVs.
Okay, so I was talking about like etiquette, how you don't talk in elevators or whatever. I noticed that those kids swore a lot in public places. Did you notice that?
Okay, at one point, now let me explain this to you. This is one part of the fucking trip that I need to talk about because this is just so fucking mind-blowing to me about what took place, right? So
I think I know what you're talking about.
So basically, it comes down to a situation where Dylan and Robert and Chris are always threatening. They have businesses together and stuff. They're always threatening to cancel services and cancel partnerships
or cancel
to
payments.
Fuck with each other people. Like, I know I owe you $30,000, but I'm not going to pay you this month if you don't, Simon says, like, do a jumping jack or whatever. Like, it's just the most outlandish shit, right? They're like, fucking, they'd get in a fight and they'd demand, if you don't come to my room right now, I'm going to cancel this payment. Like, stupid shit, right? So it comes to a situation where Dylan asked me to fuck with Chris while he's on the phone using Dylan's phone to take Chris's phone. Okay? So again, Dylan asked me to take Chris's phone. All right?
Okay.
So I'm thinking, like, whatever, what could be the harm done? So I take Chris's phone, throw it to Dylan, kind of a childish thing. It's kind of like fucking pickle in the middle or whatever. Take his phone just to get a reaction to Chris. So Chris is obviously like, what the fuck? And he's on the phone. He has to hang up with a lady while he's switching flights or whatever to get his phone from Dylan. Dylan disappears. Dylan's just fucking gone. Dude jumps in the fucking elevator and he's gone, right? So Chris is like, what the fuck? You got my phone? What's going on? So Chris goes to chase him, right? Dylan comes back, gives me the phone. He says, when you see Chris again, return the phone to him. Chris shows back up. I say, Chris, here's your phone back. Sorry, it was just a joke, whatever, right? Then Dylan comes back up, and fucking it becomes a situation where Chris still has Dylan's phone, and he refuses to give it back to Dylan, his phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Chris, look, it was a joke or whatever, but, I gave you your phone back. Like, it's time to give Dylan his phone. Dylan takes the next step. This motherfucker walks over. Now, we're at the 16th floor of this hotel. We're in the executive, lounge area.
Like the VIP area.
VIP area of the hotel. We're chilling out in there. These are all, millionaires and stuff that are in the Dallas area doing business that come up and have meetings and stuff, and it's almost like a really fancy restaurant feeling type of room.
Yeah,
there's a fucking fire and there's TVs and there's really comfortable
free alcohol and free fucking foods, finger foods and shit.
Yeah, it's basically a restaurant where everything's free, right? We're in this area and these two are fucking around with the phone, right? Dylan decides, fuck it, I'm not going to wait anymore for Chris to give me my phone back. This dude fucking calls hotel security. All right? Now, I'm just like, how the fuck did this go from fucking around, taking each other's phone, as a joke, to now hotel security is coming up? So hotel security comes up, and they have to tell Chris to give Dylan back his phone. I'm just like, what the fuck? How fucking outlandish is this shit?
You don't know how many times I had to apologize to people to be like, I'm sorry that they're retarded. Dude, I snapped on fucking the British kid. Robert. So we're in fucking Walmart, and we're buying a bunch of stuff like coolers, fucking shirts, underwear. Keem was like, dude, I don't have any clean clothes. We need to buy just stuff to wear, socks, underwear, blah, blah, blah. We're walking through them, and these kids are being so fucking annoying. And first off, remember the thing I was saying that they were swearing. They would be like, oh, fuck you, you fat cunt. He said that 1,000 times on this trip, but he was saying it in front of children. I'm like, dude, you can't fucking say that. And then as we're standing in line, I don't know, looking back on it now, I think I overreacted a little bit, but it was the straw that broke the camel's back. We're standing in line. They're being hella inappropriate in front of people. And in the middle of them standing in line, Robert buys pickles and opens them up. And it's pulling these pickles and it's dripping everywhere in line in front of everybody. And I just thought it was the most disrespectful shit. And I fucking snapped on him. I went fucking, basically, I didn't know, I kind of blacked out a little bit. I don't remember what the fuck I said to him, but I went off on him.
We're in the line at Walmart, right? Now you got to understand, at this point, we're in Dallas, Texas. We're at Walmart, and we're planning to go to Denver, Colorado to ride ATVs. Our flight to leave is in 2 hours. We stop at Walmart real quick to grab stuff for Colorado, right? Before this 2 hour, and in 2 hours, we're going to be on a plane. We're going to be in Colorado. So the only thing we need to pick up from Walmart is stuff to wear over there. Meanwhile, these motherfuckers are buying all kinds of fucking junk food that there's no way we could eat in the 2 hours we have because we're planning on going out to eat before the flight, right? This motherfucker grabs a jar of pickles and starts opening it up. He goes through, the dude beeps it in the scanner. Beep, beep. He fucking takes it out of the dude's hand, opens it up, and just starts mowing down pickles. Blade looses it. He's like, this is the most disrespectful shit ever. He's like, you don't understand. I am with you right now. I'm embarrassed. I am so embarrassed. I'm publicly embarrassed by hanging out with you. And all the fucking people in Walmart look over to me, and I'm like, fuck, now I'm embarrassed too.
Oh my God.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because Robert, Chris, and Dylan are not fucking embarrassed one bit.
They don't give a fuck.
They're just like, oh my God, this is amazing. There's no way. Dylan is an asshole in some aspects. Robert is an asshole in some aspects. You might even say that I'm an asshole in some aspects. Mm-hmm. You're a calm, patient dude that tries to be cool with everyone.
Correct.
Right? And here you have three children that are hostile and vulgar, and one adult that I don't know what you fucking call me, but I'm very impatient.
Very impatient.
Very impatient person. All right. Like, we literally turned you into that demon in that Walmart. And you exploded.
Yeah, I went off on him. I don't remember what I said, but I know that I fucking went off on him, dude. I was so pissed.
I was like, I don't know who the fuck that is right there.
Because Keem hangs out with me a good amount. Like, we do the show, and we hang out outside of the show. I consider one of my best friends, okay? So, and he knows me. The reason why we work is because you're fast-paced and patient. I'm fucking chill and relaxed and kind, okay? So, for him to
throw kind in there.
I am kind. I'm very kind. Now, but the problem is that a lot of times I let shit slide, and then all that fucking shit that I let slide avalanched on this British kid that was eating pickles in the in the checkout line at Walmart.
I remember getting to the fucking car and thinking, like, I think I even said something. I go, Blade, I think you went a little too far there. The kid was just eating pickles. There were so many times where that fucking reaction would have been appropriate.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god,
your timing's fucked up, dude. You keep on holding all that stuff in, and then it just explodes at the fucking worst.
That's the only time moment. That's really the only time you've ever seen me explode like that, though. Think about it. Have you ever seen me explode like that besides drunk?
No, I just think you got something against pickles.
It's not that I have anything against pickles. It was just like stupid.
This is the most inappropriate shit ever. No, I'm embarrassed.
I was fucking embarrassed, dude, because like we would go places and then they would just be retarded and act stupid, and I'm like, I'm fucking sitting there with them, dude. First off, I remember I was so fucking hungry in the airport, right? And we're eating like Mexican food, and they were kind of fucking around, and you throw a napkin at Dylan. You remember this?
Yes.
So
this happened right after the pickle incident, because before we flew to Colorado, like I said, they bought all this fucking junk food, but we were planning on going out to eat, so there was no point in getting this junk food. Mm-hmm. This junk food literally got thrown into the fucking garbage. There was like $20 worth of just junk food that got thrown away. We're at the restaurant. We're about ready to fly to Colorado. We sit down at this, Mexican restaurant, right? Just for the fuck of it, right? I end up throwing like a napkin over at Dylan, a rolled up napkin, right? And it goes over his soup. He stands up and he's like, fuck this shit.
And storms off. He's like, you're paying for that soup.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So we're all sitting there dumbfounded, right? I go and so I'm thinking to myself that when I threw that napkin, that it landed in his soup. We inspect the napkin and there isn't any soup on it whatsoever.
It's white as snow.
It's white as snow.
First off, Dylan is very finicky about the places that he eats. Like, he doesn't... Like, I want to go to fucking mom and pop places. You know what I mean? I want to go to places that probably didn't pass the health inspection report. I want to go to food places. If we're traveling, I don't want to eat at Subway. I want to eat at a place that you're never going to be able to eat again.
Which makes sense.
And these guys are like, take me to Arby's. Or if they don't like a place or don't even want to give a place a chance, to like, this is peasant shit. I don't want this. And I'm like, dude, you're fucking killing me here.
But you want to go to Arby's.
Yeah, you want to go to fucking Arby's and McDonald's. It's fucking stupid. So you didn't remember this part. So 5 of us are there, right? The napkin throwing incident happens. Dylan storms off. Keem's like, I'm gonna go talk to him. Fucking Chris is going like, I'm gonna go find out where those guys are. So now it's me and Robert, right? And I'm just like, how do you want to deal with this? Like,
because you all got stuck with the bill.
All got stuck. I think you threw down $20.
No, before I left, I threw down what was owed up for me.
Yeah, and so I was like, I'm like sitting there eating. I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm not paying for all these guys. But overall, it was a fun trip. I'm trying. There's some other fucking epic shit that happened. I just can't remember.
I was so mad at so many points during that trip, and I was so frustrated with these fucks.
Dude,
I want to slap them. I want to slap you, Robert. I want to slap you, Chris. I want to slap you, Dylan. I honestly,
first
you
off,
annoying
these
fucks.
These kids are raised by the internet, not how we were raised. Here's the thing. Sometimes you have to fucking roll up your sleeves and do some shit, right?
Yeah.
They weren't having it, okay? When we got the ATV stuck, Within 5 minutes, Dylan was like, I'm calling a helicopter.
He was going to call a fucking helicopter.
He's like, I'm going to drop a pin. I'm going to call them, and the helicopter will pick us up. Let's go. And we're like, no, dude, let's fucking get these ATVs out of here. He's like, we'll leave them. Fuck it. And I'm like, no.
I'm like, Dylan, you're going to get your ass over here, and you're going to learn something. Fuck you and your fucking little helicopter. It's not coming to pick you up.
Like the guy, okay, first off, there was a gentleman that came by in an ATV four-wheel that had a winch and literally spent about 45 minutes helping us get these out of the kindness of his heart, okay? There was a point where I was digging up snow from the second ATV. I was digging up, literally knee-deep in snow on my hands and knees, digging up snow.
And we got to hand it to Fat Chris, because Fat Chris...
No, I was about to roast Chris.
No, he was helping.
Go ahead.
Me, you, and Fat Chris were picking up these RTVs and like literally manhandle them out of the snow when they were stuck, right? Yeah. What were you going to say about Chris?
Okay, so I'm on my hands and knees digging fucking snow out, trying to make a track for the ATVs or whatever. The guy comes up with the hook. The hook to the fucking to the rope, right?
The guy that's pulling us out.
The guy that's pulling us out. I'm on my hands and knees. Chris is standing there, and the guy tries to hand the hook to him, and Chris does like this hands behind his back, like no, like shaking his head. I'm like, and I look at him, I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Are you having a seizure? Like, what? And the guy's like, you're not gonna take it? Like he literally is like, you're not gonna take this? He's like, no, I don't. And so the guy he's like super doesn't know what the fuck to do, so he just like kind of puts it down. I'm literally knee deep in snow. I'm like, Chris, just grab that and hook it. That's all you got to do. Just hook it. He's like, no, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm like, I'm telling you what to do. Just fucking hook it. He's like, no. He looks scared. When a dude's helping you out, trying to like rescue you, and you're like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm like, you're not going to fucking get AIDS from grabbing this hook, bro. You literally just have to take a fucking hook and hook it onto something. No. So I have to get up out of the snow and like grab it and hook it real quick. I'm like, is it that fucking hard? Meanwhile, I got fucking Dylan and what's his name, the British kid. I'm so fucking flustered right now. They're going off trying to fucking call a helicopter to pick him up. I'm like, what good is that going to do? You're going to get a...
Oh my God. Okay, so I think we've talked enough about the trip, and we're probably going to end the podcast here, but I want to leave on this note, right? It may seem like we're just bashing Robert, Dylan, and Chris this whole time. And maybe we were. But at the end of the day, we had a fucking amazing trip because of those fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
They were the reason why we went on the trip.
Their fucking annoying bullshit created this whole fucking podcast. Anyhow, that was our trip. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the BadKidCast. I'm Keemstar.
I'm only using my blood.
Peace.
Deuces.